A very good evening, our delegates, invitees, presenters to the third technical session to be held online now. Without further delay, I would request Dr. Moumita Mukherjhee, session chair, to come over the stage and take your seat, ma'am. Dr. Moumita Mukherjhee, Professor and Dean at Damas University. She did her doctoral and postdoctoral studies under DRDO, Ministry of Defense, Government of India. Ma'am received visiting scientist and postdoc positions from INEX, Newcastle University, UK, and Technical University, Darmstadt, Germany. Ma'am was attached with DRDO Center and the Ministry of Defense, Government of India as scientist reader grade. With a total of 17 years of R&D and teaching experience, she is visiting adjunct professor of JAP BMI under Calcutta University and the West Bengal University of Health Sciences. Her research interest is focused on terahertz electronics, semiconductor devices, graphene electronics, photosensors, nano biosensors, and medical electronics and instruments. Ma'am has published more than 150 peer-reviewed research papers till date in reputed international referred journals and reviewed proceedings with citation globally. I request ma'am to chair the session now.
So thank you very much. So with this, we will start technical session 3. The papers will be presented in online mode. Each presenter will get 15 minutes time for presentation, followed by a short discussion. So first paper, paper ID 39, motion-based representation for trajectory-based hand gesture, a brief overview. So, are you present? Yes. So, Devojit Sharma is the presenter, right? Okay. So, Devojit, please share the screen. 10 minutes presentation, 5 minutes presentation. Okay. Because we are running short of time. Okay. Maybe there is some technical issue. Is there any? Please check. Okay. Maybe there is some technical issue with the paper ID 39 author. We will come later. So now paper ID 63. I will invite the next speaker. Uh, yeah, Soumyabrata De. And your paper is on simultaneous prediction of hand gesture and hand key points using thermal images. So, Soumyabrata, please share your screen and start the presentation.
Sure, ma'am.
You will get 10 minutes time and followed by 2 or 3 quick questions we will discuss.
Okay. It's not letting me share my entire screen. I'm trying to share a particular window, but it's not allowing me that as well. StreamYard. Cool. This is a problem. Can you see my screen by any chance? Stop sharing. Okay. Can you share my see my screen, ma'am? I cannot hear anything. Hello.
That's all.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shomo, and I'm presenting on behalf of my team my paper, Simultaneous Prediction of Hand Gesture, Handedness, and Hand Key Point using Thermal Images. So hand gesture recognition is a common applications, and especially in the present days where we have like surrounded with smart devices like smart home, smart camera, smart TV. All these devices, smart devices, need a smart way of interactions like voice command, and some uses hand gesture. So with these motivations, there are a lot of applications. For example, sign language predictions. So people who cannot speak use this language, but other people cannot understand. So if we have a automatic way of predicting this hand gesture and interpretation, that would be very nice. Similarly, there can be a mixed reality game environment where somebody is wearing a VR gear, and use their hand gesture to control the environment, and that is possible these days. Last semester, I was working on a project where we are trying to control a drone using hand gestures, and such a way like these applications are limitless, and it is only bound by the imaginations of the researcher. So there are many different working hand gesture predictions. Most of the work is done in the RGB color camera images, but these images, these techniques have certain problems because due to the illumination and color variations of the light, the accuracy is sometimes affected. And also coupled with that, before hand gesture prediction, we need hand detections. And for these techniques use a skin color databases many a time, but skin can vary a lot. Skin color. So coupling with the illumination variation and skin color variations, because of these, depending on the situation and environment, different technique need to use different models. So compared to that, we actually used a alternative data modality, which is the thermal data, which looks like these. So this is a grayscale image where the higher temperature regions comes as brighter regions, and the darker temperature and lower temperature regions comes as darker. And because the body part has comparatively higher temperature than the surrounding, it comes as the brighter region. So we used a multitask deep learning neural network for.
Shomapata, I'm just interfering just 1 minute. You are changing your slide or not?
I'm changing my slide, ma'am.
Okay, so, but we can see only the first slide.
Uh, I don't
I
know.
think
I'm,
you just check from your end. Yeah, now it is coming the second slide.
can I share again? Let me share it again. Is it visible?
No, no, no. Not in full screen mode. Full screen you can share.
Let me stop share and share it again. Actually, this is a new application. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to share it. Share screen.
Reshare the PPT.
Yes. Can you see my slide, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see the changes?
But you check whether it is changing or not. Are you changing?
I'm changing from my end. I'm not sure what you see.
But it is not reflecting here.
Okay, let me try this way. Can you see the slide now, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So I cannot use the animation then. I'll try to use the pointer to
You
point.
just you um, you just click on the full screen share.
I'm trying to do that. Let me try again. Sorry about this, but I don't know like how to handle this. So I'm going to the share mode, share screen, and
What we can
the
do?
I can see the entire screen. And if I try to share these, it is not allowing me to do that. So I have to, what I need to do is I have to go to the window tab, and then I have to share a particular window, but probably I don't have permission to share my entire screen. I don't know. Okay.
You go to PPT and try again
Okay.
the PPT.
Sure.
Just open your PPT.
Can you see my PPT now?
Yes, yes, yes. And
So if I change my slide, can you see it?
now it is changing.
Okay, so I don't want go into the presentation mode. I'll just show the slides.
Yeah, yeah. Better you continue with this one.
Okay. So as I was saying, we are using a multitasking multitasking deep neural network for simultaneous prediction of gesture classification, left and right hand detection, and hand key point localization. So in the right bottom corner of the screen, there is a video with overlaid results where we showed that our model can predict the gesture, handedness, and the key point. And the reason we selected thermal camera is because it's easier to segment the hands because it's less affected by the illuminations variation, especially the color variations. And this kind of sensors are in current days widely available. And in the near future, we can see it attached with the smart devices. So this is our data collection and pre-processing pipeline. We used a vintage thermal camera mounted on tabletop, pointing towards downwards, that collect image like these video frames. So we use 24 different users for collecting our data, left and right hand both. Video is 30 frames per second. Format is 16-bit TIFF images. So given a cropped images such as these, first what we do, we actually use the background model. And if you somebody doesn't know background model, we actually recorded the tabletop without the presence of the hand for a couple of frames, and that gives us a background. And this background can be subtracted from the original frame to get the background subtracted hand regions. And these hand regions are then used for k-mean clustering, because if there is presence of multiple hands, we want to detect all the hand regions. And k-mean clustering sometimes gives us like over segmentations. So we used one more technique, expansion and IOU. IOU is intersection over union. So if these clusters are overlapped, then we are using this expansion technique to merge those clusters which are overlapped into single cluster. And this technique worked for us very well. So given the segmented hand, we reshape these into 100 cross 100 dimensional images and use it as training samples. For testing scenario, we use the whole pipeline. So given a video, given a video, we can directly come to these segmented hand images, and this is passed to our deep learning network for further prediction. So these are the 10 different hand gestures we collected from both left and right hand. And this is the snapshot of our dataset collection. So in average, we collected 5,000 to 6,000 frames per gestures. And we use like first 20 users for training and last 4 users for testing. And we also used external dataset, which will show in the results. And we of course use some data augmentations to increase the size of the our datasets for beta training. So this is the model we used. The first part of the model, which is in the red rectangle, which is the encoder part, where we started with 100 cross 100 dimensional images and then encoded this image into 256 cross 6 cross 6 dimensional image. And from there, we use some deconvolutional network. So this is the common part of the network. And then from here, we have 3 different branches. The first branch is combination of convolutional network, GAP, which is global average pooling, and some dense network to predict the gestures, and left and right hand. So the green part is task specific learning, but the rest of the part is common feature learning. And the third branch, it's not a single prediction, but a prediction on an image. So the image dimension, final predicted image dimension is 50 cross 50, which we call the hand key point maps. And I'll show you in the next slide what it means. But We have 6 different channels. The first 5 channels are responsible for thumb, index, middle, ring, and little finger prediction, and 6th channel is responsible for wrist point prediction. So coming back to the hand key point map, it looks like there is an actually animation, but I cannot show it. So starting with a segmented hand regions, these color points are actually manually predicted hand key points, which we used for our training set. So once we prepare the training set, these hand key point maps are looks like this. So what are these, like some black map. On top of that, we use some Gaussian distributions to come up with some higher weights, the lighter regions. So these signifies the hand key points in the map, and this is what is used for training our deep learning network. So once we train with this kind of feedback or ground truth, our network is able to predict after training the similar kind of localization map for fingers. So we encountered one problem which was occurring for at least around 10% prediction, that sometimes the index of the prediction was altered. What I mean by that, suppose I have a index of the hand, the fingers, with the thumb as 1, index as 2, such as, so finger, the index finger number is 2 and middle finger number is 3. It is supposed to be predicted in the feature map number 2, the index finger, but sometimes it gets predicted in feature map 3. Same way the middle finger is getting predicted in feature map 2. So to avoid this problem, we actually come up with a solution which is not deep learning but a automatic rule-based solution. So that comes from the hand geometry. So we started with a origin point which is the wrist point, which is closer to the thumb, and then we connected it with the other wrist line, other wrist point, and we call it wrist line, and all the fingertips, and we call it the finger lines. So based on hand geometry, we can say the angle order, which is theta 2 greater than equal to theta 3 greater than equal to theta 4 greater than equal to theta 5, and this angle order comes from that. So what theta 2 is the angle between my index finger line and the wrist line, theta 3 is angle between my middle finger line and wrist line, and so on. So because of the hand geometry, this order should follow, but in case of wrong predictions, suppose these predicted points are overlapped with the results, this orange point and the blue points, so we can observe a reverse order of this angle, and when it occurs, we understand that this is a like reverse way of prediction, and we can automatically correct it with the right order. So this is the loss function we use. Because we have a multitask model, it has 3 different loss. One is key point loss, another is the gesture loss, and the third is handedness loss. And these loss functions, loss values are a weighted combinations of these loss values are used for final loss, and the weighted parameters alpha value is 0.77, beta is 0.15, and gamma is 0.08, and we computed these values empirically. And for first loss, key point loss, we use a mean square error loss. For gesture, we use categorical cross entropy loss, and for handedness, we use binary cross entropy loss. This is our experimental setup. We use all the experiments run on a machine with Windows 10 operating system. CPU is AMD Ryzen 9 and GPU is GTX 1080 Ti. And for all our experiment, we use batch size 32 and training epoch 100 for our deep learning model training. So as I mentioned, we use some external datasets also. We use 4 external datasets for validation. So first 3 external datasets gives us segmented images, and the 4th one gives us the original images, but we have to manually crop and segment those before we can use it in our experiment. So these experimental datasets are challenging because it is calculated.
Please try to finish within 3 minutes.
Okay. So data sets are coming from different devices, gestures captured in different angles, and lots of noise in the image. So these data sets are challenging. And these are our results on these data sets. So for gesture classification, we use external data set 1, 2, 3, and our self-collected test data. So and we compared our results with VGG16 MobileNet and InceptionNet models, which are very well-known classification model. But in all three external data sets, our results outperform other comparing techniques. For self-collected data, we are almost similar to our mobile net, just a little below. For hand key point results, we used like external data set 4 and self-collected data, and we compared with YOLS and ULA, two different models, which is doing the hand key point prediction. And in all the cases, our results outperform the other techniques. For handedness results, we again compared with VGG16 and MobileNet, and our model is almost as good as MobileNet. But remember, MobileNet is only doing handedness, and our technique is doing 3 different tasks altogether. The reason we have to use different technique for comparison, because all these techniques doesn't do all 3 tasks, but our network is doing 3 tasks together, so we have to use different technique to compare different results. We also do some evaluation study to identify each of the branch performance, and we show like if those branches are trained separately, the performance is little low compared to when trained with all branches. So coming to the conclusions, like why multitasking? Because multitasking can learn correlated tasks such as hand detection and hand key point localizations. And multitasking is a regularization technique that helps generalized learning by learning common features in the common branch, and then in the last part where the branch is isolated, those are task-specific learning. And we've seen because of this generalized learning, our method outperforms all other method in the external data sets. That is a way of showing generalized learning. Our technique is the first technique for predicting all 3 tasks using one network. For future work, we will be using combination of RGB and thermal images, and also we'll use some technique like distillation learning, which is kind of learning some subtask first, for example, hand contour, and use those information for final learning, which is key point localization, and it sometimes help by learning first the subtask and use those information for the final task. Thank you so much. I'm open for your questions.
Okay, so thank you, and the forum is open for discussion. One or two quick questions because we are running short of time.
I was just thinking, like, is it audible? Shomapata, is it audible? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, this is Shubhani, Shomapata. So I have a quick question that does it work for complex background? Like, how much complexity in the background it can allow?
So for complex background, what happens is like if the background is complex, but the thermal signature of the background is almost similar, it can work. But the thermal signature is, suppose we have a lot of heat sources, then this technique can fail. And that is why we want to use a combination of thermal and RGB data in the future to handle even more complex background. But for all techniques, there are some limitations. Even though we'll be using multi-model data, there would be some complex background to fail those situations as well. So as you rightly understand, like that some complex background can fail any technique which might be used.
Okay, anyway, very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any other question from audience? So if not, just I have one query: whether you have made an attempt, make any attempt to develop this system?
for RGB and thermal. Ma'am, the question is.
Have you made any attempt to develop this system, that finger gesture system, total system? Have you made any attempt?
Yes, the total
You have
system is
modeled
there.
it. You have modeled it, I found. But have you made any attempt to develop it?
The total system is there, total pipeline, but I didn't have any like mobile app or something like software such as this.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
total pipeline is running in the background. So if you give me a video, it can predict the hand gesture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That video is missing. So thank you very much. Let us have a big hand to the presenter. So next paper, paper ID 117, 3D point cloud-based hand gesture recognition. So show me, Pal. Show me, please share your screen and start the presentation. Try to finish within 10 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Your screen is not yet visible.
Um, I'm just trying to share it. Share screen. Is it visible?
Not yet.
It's showing some lock is there.
Just share total PPT first, and then go to that share. Then the screen, just share button now.
I hope you are not presenting from your mobile or tab.
No, it's from laptop.
Even technical glitches maybe.
Can you see the
It's
share
from
button?
laptop.
Can you see the share button?
Just click on the share button.
Yes, I'm trying to share it.
Open the PPT first, and then go to that share.
Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, now it is coming. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Shomi Paul. My paper ID is 117, and my paper title is 3D point cloud-based hand gesture recognition. So today we will talk about this is the outline of our talk. First, we'll talk about introduction, the data set, the pre-processing of the data set, then the feature descriptor, results and discussion, and the conclusion. Here in this work, we have worked with hand gestures. Hand gestures are the very popular form of communication in the human society since ages. Currently, essential means of non-verbal communication, particularly for speech and hearing impaired, are done by hand gestures. This is a distinct form of human-computer interaction, interactive as well, because like other devices like keyboard, mouse, or joystick, hand gestures are intuitive, touchless, non-invasive. Hand-operated devices which are available in the market are not commonly used because they normally use a very controlled lab environment, and they are bulky in size, and you cannot just go out with them outside lab. So vision-based solutions are always handy and practically useful. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Because I can't hear anything.
Unmute everyone. Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So here comes some state of the art. There are some devices available in the market for 3D scene capture. It's like Kinect, time-of-flight cameras. The main purpose of these devices are collecting raw point cloud data, and these cameras give us point cloud as an output. But with this data, there are also some low-budget devices. This actually includes outliers, and are also this data affected by noise. So there are some literature reviews in the market which gives a hand gesture recognition based on infrared information and machine learning algorithms. We have gone through them and we find out the recent state of the art. And so we decided to work upon geometrical feature-based point cloud analysis with repeated zoning of the three-dimensional volume by slicing through vertical and horizontal planes, and then derive the same feature from each zone and testing the efficiency by running cross-validation with 3 state-of-the-art classifiers like bagging, J48, and random forest on a publicly available dataset. And these yielded an accuracy up to 95.2%. So the data set we started working with is a public data set. It's a Polish sign language data set. And it was exactly the data set we're looking for. It's a 3-dimensional data set, point cloud based. So it contains a set of hand postures which performed with the right hand located from the 20 centimeter from the face. The camera was 20 centimeter from the face, and that's how the whole data set has been recorded. It recorded by 3 people. They named as person 1, person 2, and person 3. And the data set consists of symbols. And the symbols are A, B, C, E, I, L, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, U, W, and Y. They captured each symbols 20 times. So altogether, the data set contains 16 symbols, 3 person, and 20 times. So 960 images. The postures have variable orientation and positions related to the camera, and they differ in the arrangement of fingers and thumbs as well. We will see that in the images in our next slide. So this is the sample images of the data set. We can see here it's from A to Y. For each sample we have depicted one image, and from these images we can see the data set. This is a 2D representation of the 3D point cloud of those data set. And from these images we can see each image consists, including hand, it consists of the part of the body and the background. So to work with this data set, we first needed pre-processing. For pre-processing, as PSL dataset contains the background and the body part, so here noise elimination we have done in 2 phases, the segmentation and then the outlier removal. So segmentation was done in such a way where the point coordinated, the coordinates, if we consider it as V, which includes X, Y, Z values, then we have done thresholding in Z direction. First, we have taken the statistical mean and the standard deviation of the set, the total set V, point cloud, of all the points, and calculated with respect to the Z coordinates. For each point, if the z coordinate of that point is away from the mean by greater than or equal to k times of the standard deviation, here k we have taken, it's a suitable chosen parameter with different tuning. We have taken this parameter. We have taken threshold up for this parameter. Then the point, if the deviation is greater than or equal to k times, then the point is removed from the cloud, because we are considering there's a distant point. After substantial experimentation, this point we have considered as 1.5. And the output of this stage we have taken as an input for outlier removal. So for outlier removal, first we extracted the centroid of the point cloud and calculated the Euclidean distance from the centroid, which we call as C, to each points in V. The mean and the standard deviation of these distances are calculated, as most of the points clutter in the hand region, and because that is the frontmost object of the camera. And the average value is also likely to belong to close to that cluster. So if the Euclidean distance of any point from that mean exceed the t times of the standard deviation, again we are taking a threshold and with suitable calculation, then point is removed from the point cloud as an outlier. So by repeated trials, we have seen that the threshold for t would, like if we take 3, then it gives a more localized point cloud. So this is the illustration. Image A is showing the whole scene, the data set raw image representation. Here, I'm just using my cursor to point out this dark point is actually the hand, which we need to work with. And the whole image is including the body parts and the scene, background scene. So after segmentation, we are getting B, this second image. Here also we can see some outliers are lying there. And after the noise removal, we are getting this, the third image. So our next feature extraction we have done on this data set. Out of this data set, V, we have taken with these 3 stages, we have taken this, we got this data set, we got this point cloud, and our further feature extraction, we work with this point cloud. So for features, we have actually taken group of features. So features from points and angles. Then the next group is convex-based features, and then some moment-based features. So for point and angles, we have taken point cloud distances and point cloud angles, 14 features from each. And from convex-based features, we have taken convex-based distance, volume, phase-based distance, phase-based area, phase-based consecutive angle, and some moment-based features as well. So I'll come one by one. So this is in point cloud distances. We have calculated the distances of vertices from centroid C of the point cloud to each of the vertices. And for angles, we have taken a line L between centroid C and the centroid of set of the points on 3-dimensional convex hull that we are representing as CH. This line is orientation free and it is used as a reference line. For the angle, we have taken between the angles between L and Li. So now Li is the line between C, that is the centroid of the convex, centroid of the vertices. From there, each element of the vertices, we have drawn line, and from the reference line, we have calculated the angles.
So show me, try to finish within 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So we have calculated then binning 10 histogram values and the minimum maximum weighted average and standard deviation of these distances and angles as well. The same way we have taken convex hull based features. Convex hull based features are hull based. Now as a convex hull is already drawn, the convex hull based distances, the phase based volumes, the phase based distances, the phase based area, and the phase based consecutive angles. So we have taken 14 features from each of them, and then these 14 features are actually like 10 histogram values and then minimum, maximum, weighted average, and the standard deviation of all the features. And then we also taken some moment-based features, the statistical moments up to 12th order. So like these, we have ended up like 98, this is like 7 features previously we have already discussed. So 14 out of each group. So that is 98 and 39 features from the moments. So altogether 137 features. And this is for level 0. If we call this level 0, then next stage we are doing zoning. For zoning, the point cloud is divided into 4 zones, the horizontal and vertical plane through the center of the point cloud. And this we call as level 1. And the same way we have gone up to level 3. So I will just jump into the last sentence. So here we can see from level 0 to level 3, for 1, 4, 16 and 64, we are getting 85 zones. And from each zone, we are getting 137 features. So altogether, we are getting 11,645 features, which are extracted from the whole set. So this is the illustration of the zoning. This is the convex hull we got. And this is how we actually did the zoning. This is level 1 zoning image. And the same way we have done zoning on each of the zones we get from level 1 and level 2. So after all this feature extraction, we run some classifiers as we discussed, like bagging, J48, random forest, and CV10-20. And we actually did different combination of the moments, and we also run PC on this. And we have seen the all combination between, it gives random forest, CV20 giving the best result, that is 95.20. So in summary, we can conclude point cloud-based static hand gesture recognition using statistical features we have done. And the point cloud are divided into multiple rectangular zones. And this is orientation independent, and public datasets show that our method achieves good accuracy in real time. In future work, we can consider more dataset that can be experimented, development of some new effective methods, and recognition of dynamic gestures in point cloud. So here are some important references. Thank you. If any question and comments.
Thank you, Shomi, for the good presentation. Now the forum is open for discussion. Any question from audience? Any question? If not, then I have just one query.
Yeah,
Have you checked the accuracy level of the model? Accuracy checking done or not?
accuracy, no, we have actually calculated all this, and we have just taken the highest accuracy. And we also run PCA to get the best features. But out of that, we have not done the accuracy checking.
That has not yet been done. No? That has to be
No,
done.
no. Yes, this is in our future work planning as well.
Since you are presenting for the first time this method, have you compared it with the available methods in
Yes.
literature? Okay.
Yes. And this is quite in the state of the art present. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's have a big hand to the presenter. Next, paper ID 135. Present.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning. Take it.
So please share your screen, Noina.
Yes, ma'am. Is my screen is visible?
Yeah, it is. Now it is coming.
My slide is visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Today I am giving a PPT on an IoT-enabled vital cardiac parameter monitoring system on real-time basis. First, we discuss about motivation. That means, as we know that there are several discrepancies are there in traditional one. That in traditional health monitoring system, we have to go for checkups in physical basis, and due to need hectic schedule because we all are leading a hectic schedule. That's why it is time consuming and it is difficult to go. And the cost of the diagnostic is skyrocketing day by day. That's why it is not affordable for everyone. But so it motivates us to develop such a system that is cheaper one and also provide the healthcare, especially for the cardiac patient, in 24/7 duration. And another problem is that there is a big discrepancy between rural and urban areas that all person cannot get the same facility. So a dilemma is in healthcare is created. A person like senior citizen has to travel a lot of distance, such as mile, to go to their uh, health center nearby. That's why it becomes a problem. So if the system is a cheaper one and also it provides the mm, healthcare facilities in 24/7 duration, thus everyone can avail it and it can provide a solution. There are several devices available in this domain which can monitor such parameters, such as we all can use health bands or other devices, but there is no such devices which can monitor all the necessary parameters which is related for a heart patient and also for 24/7 duration. So that's why we developed such a system. As we all know that IoT has a great potential to meet the needs of the healthcare. It means approved to improve the access of care, increase the quality of care by and also reducing the cost of care that everyone can avail it. I developed this system to overcome the loopholes of the existing one. As we lead a strenuous life, they don't go for checkups until senior's condition can occur, right? Because we had a hectic schedule, stress is a common thing in our life, which is bad for our health as well as for our heart also. But we don't go for checkups due to lack of time. Thus, it is difficult to take proper precaution at proper time. But using this system, a person can check their necessary needs at their leisure time and they can stay healthy. Any situation like cardiac arrest, it is a very crucial situation, especially for the cardiac patient, which can not only be captured by performing only ECG, because by performing ECG, cardiac arrest can be captured because there is an abnormality in the curve. But when cardiac arrest occurs, it comes with the problems like sweating, abnormal SpO2 level, heart rate, and fatigue, etc. Our Popo system not only captured ECG but captured SpO2 level, heart rate, pulse rate, and also temperature. So cardiac arrest can be recognized at an earlier stage, and we can take the proper care, and we can save life. As I say before, other devices are available in the market, but they are not the cheaper one, and no other devices can measure all the things that is necessary for a patient. So this is which in turn increase the complexity of health.
Naina, please try to finish within 3-4 minutes because go to your main work and the result and discussion part mostly.
Okay, ma'am. This has been already discussed that the system available in the domains and how my system is better than it. So this is the block diagram of my system. I use MAX 30102 sensor for taking the pulse rate and heart rate, DS18B20 for temperature sensing, and AD8232 for heart rate monitoring, and DHT11 to measure the surroundings temperature and humidity level. Here ESP32 can be used to connect all the sensors to our Wi-Fi. ESP32 is a feature-rich MCU with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in. The data has been uploaded to the cloud. Here I have been using Pioneer Cloud, and also it has been shown to the local IP address. This is the flow diagram that I have made. This is the basic outline. Here I use ESP32, which is a feature-rich MCU, as I said. It can be used as Wi-Fi station and access point and both also, but here I use ESP32 as Wi-Fi station and this is connected to a Wi-Fi. You can scan network within its Wi-Fi range. And next, DS18B20, which is used to take the body temperature and which provides a temperature measurement from 90 to 12 Celsius temperature, and it communicates via one-wire bus protocol. Another feature is this is the block diagram of D818B20. Another feature of DS18B20, it can operate in normal way where external power supply is done through VDD, and also in parasite mode when it's still powered through the one-wire bus line to charge the internal capacitor when the bus is low. And we use AD8232 for ECG sensor. ECG is a non-invasive process. It is basically a single-bit ECG sensor. So it has three electrodes, basically RL, LA, and RA. So to capture ECG, we have to place three electrodes, that is RA from the right arm, and LA is on the right leg. If one of the electrodes are loose, then LO minus and LO pins are become high. Otherwise, they are becoming low. And to capture ECG in a better way, we need resting position because it is very motion sensitive. And this is the placement of this electrode. And MAX 30102, it is a pulse oximetry and heart rate monitoring sensor. It contains two LEDs, display and IR LED, and a very sensitive photo detector. By shining both of the lights, and especially on the skin where the skin is not too thick, because we have to penetrate the skin. Especially it is done on the finger, because when we touch the finger, it sends through touching the finger, it sends the data. That means that at every heartbeat, when blood is pumped through the finger, then it make a change to the amount of light reflected to the photo detector. Based on that, we can measure heart rate and pulse rate. For heart rate, we know that the deoxygenated blood can capture more red light, and oxygenated blood capture more IR light. So if the by capturing the amount of IR light, we can measure the heart rate, and by capturing the ratio of reflected light by red LED and IR LED, we can measure the pulse rate. So
Naina,
if
please
you
go
wanna,
to your main work.
okay.
But
Here it is my circuit diagram where there are several sensors there, and this is my circuit diagram where this network can collect all the data, and this is the flowchart and pinout diagram. Here all data is uploaded to a browser via HTTP protocol, and data is uploaded to the cloud. Here I use a Kine cloud, and in Kine cloud all the sensors data are sent through MQTT protocol, and I have to assign the SSID and password of my Wi-Fi to connect the cloud to my SSID and to my Wi-Fi. This cloud has a unique notification method that if one of the parameters value goes above the threshold level, it can notify the user by sending mail or SMS. That means the registered email ID or phone number can be of the user family or nearby hospital. Specifically, nowadays, more of the senior citizens have become heart patient and they are living alone. So they cannot arrange help by their own. So this system helps them a lot because if some critical situation like cardiac arrest can occur, then it can notify the user family or the local hospital, um, and they can arrange help from them. This is the result of the sensor. Canna Cloud has another features like it shows the data on charts from where the doctor can see that the patient parameters value how deviates from their previous one. They are recovering from their disease or not. They can be monitored in a better way. Here I took some screenshots from the cloud where data charts have been shown in hours and minute duration. It can also provide data in year duration to um, provide a better care. Here we can also download the data chart from the site, from where we can mail out to our doctors, from where they can recognize it. Conclusion. This is totally one user framework. That means a person can monitor their physiological needs, especially the cardiac patient, and a doctor can enter to the cloud by the authorize user ID and check the data, but I want to make it I want to add more user to this cloud, especially patient and doctor. Then patient have to upload their medical details such as they are if they are allergic to some medicine or they are going to some surgeries or not, and doctors have to upload their designation and their specialization and also their work experience to make a complete patient monitoring system. This is the block diagram of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana, for your presentation. Now the forum is open for discussion. Any one or two quick questions from audience? If any. If not, okay, let us have a big hand to the presenter. And paper ID 39 was trying to present at the very beginning. So can we connect with him? Paper ID 39. There are some technical glitches. He is not present. Okay. Reschedule. Yeah. So with this, we are concluding our presentation today. And thank you very much for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. I request Dr. Juesh Binong, sir, to felicitate our ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So now we proceed to the next this. I call Binanda to host further. Thank you so much.